because I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
This IFL TV proudly sponsored by Everlast. Dave Coldwell joins me from his gym. Dave, thanks for jumping on at such short notice. Yeah, we're here again, and it's another disappointing day in the sport when, as we sit here right now, there's a press conference going on for a domestic world title fight, and yet the headlines today, of course, will be about what we saw or woke up to with Amir this morning.
Yeah, we were all in the gym, working away, and then I just got my phone started blowing up. Got a couple of calls, and obviously the news breaking about this another failed drug test. It's frustrating, mate. It's like, I've got young Stephen Cairns here saying what's going to happen? How are they going to sort this mess out? He's a 20-year-old kid that's come into the sport, big dreams, big ambitions. I've got a stable of young fighters, young Joe Cooper, 17, Muhammad Ali, 18, Hopi, 23, and obviously you got his established at Jordan at 28. These are young men that are chasing the dreams and, sacrificing so much, doing everything right. And then you keep hearing these things, these stories of fighters failing tests and cheats and peds and stuff like that, and it's a cover-ups or misinformation, and it's just a mess. I know in this world of social media, we get to hear about things a lot more, so you've got to put a lot down to that. But I've been in boxing 32 years, and I've never been as disillusioned with sport as what I am right now. I don't know. It's how do you keep defending it to people, to fans, when they're asking you, what's going on? What? I don't know. It's shit at the moment, mate. It really is.
The report that we saw concluded that it wasn't intentional, the ingestion of whatever this.
How? Okay, so obviously I'm in the gym. I've not looked into it. I'm asking, and obviously your viewers out there, no doubt they can explain to me. How do you not know that it's not intentional? And this where people say, not just. I've just seen Khan's statement or his little video that was on Sky Sports News on my phone. If you get done for drink driving, if you was to drink like 10 pints now, then get in your car and drive, you will have more alcohol in your system than what you would in 24 hours. But yet in 24 hours, when they not 24 hours, but in the next morning when they said, be careful about driving when you've had a drink, and you're not think, oh shit, it was last night, I feel all right now, but it's still in your blood, still in your system. But it'll be less that's left in your system than what there was when you was on the night out, after the night out. So is that not the same case of where you could be popping these peds, and towards the end of the cycle, obviously it starts flushing out your system, and then you're left with X amount left, and you just get caught on the timing of that test where there's that trace. So I don't understand. I need an expert to explain to me how that, where you say, oh, it's just this trace, it has no effect, it's this, could have got. How do you not say, well, how do you not know that, well, actually, it was flushing my fucking system when I was bang at it, and now it's coming out of my system? Is that not the same thing? Listen, it's hard to talk about individual cases when you don't know anything about it. He's never popped for drug use throughout his career. So you take it for as what it is. This is at the end of his career where this is the biggest fight of his life, basically, going into this. But this is what I said going into this fight for both men. It was a case of they're going to be remembered for this in this country because it's the biggest fight for over a decade. They were talking about it, and so the pressure. So did he then think, obviously, training is going shit, whatever, I'm not great, I'm not the fighter I was, can't afford to lose this fight. Yes, this is the first time, because there's always a first time. When somebody cheats, there's always a first time that you cheat. I think it's plausible that this could be the first time that he's cheated, but you know, obviously you don't know. But you can't just say, turn around and say, oh well, he's cheated all the way through his career. No, there's I would think I would give him the benefit of doubt and say, oh, it's probably the first time he's cheated. It's like the when you turn around, oh look, you can't turn around and say, oh well, I never cheated because look, I got beat. That don't mean shit, you know.
I was going to say that it didn't work because I lost the argument as well.
Yeah, you can't use that as an excuse. But at the same time, I'm not going to say, oh, well, all the way through his career it was cheating. I won't say that. That was like, we all said it was way too late. We all said, you know, they were both a shadow of the former selves and what have you, and you know, so I can imagine that's where he's succumbed to it with the pressures and everything like that going into the fight. I don't know. I don't know the kid like that, but I could imagine that I would rather look at it as that. Like I said, he's never popped before. I'm not saying that means that he was clean all the way through. I don't know, but what I'm saying, I would rather than judge you say, oh, all his career, forget about it. I'd rather just say, no, fucking, you weren't confident enough to beat Kell Brook, and so you popped.
Yeah, talking about what you just mentioned, where Amir said it didn't work because I lost. Obviously, the press have managed to sniff out where he is. I don't know if you've seen that quick video where they're kind of outside. I don't know, maybe an apartment block or there. Yeah. Do you think in the case of looking at that, it just kind of looks like there's cameras in his face and he's under a little bit of pressure there, like that? That's all a bit very immediate. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of, they've sniffed out where he is and just chucked the camera in his face. So you can't take that with too much.
Yeah, but he's known his failed drug test for ages. He hadn't found out this morning, and then cameras just popped on his door where he's literally just like, oh, fucking hell, I failed drug test. And then he's known he's failed for ages. He got the failed test result for ages. Am I wrong?
Oh yeah, you're right, yeah.
So there you go. So he's known. That surely sooner or later it comes out. So is it just another? I don't know. It's just whenever anyone fails a test, there's always like, oh, it was a trace. I was shaking hands. I was doing this. I was doing that. Fuck off. It's just, you know, he's accepted it, and he from what I've seen, I think he's accepted it. He said it was unintentional, but I've accepted it, 2-year ban, fair enough. But it's easy for him to say that because he's not fighting again anyway. He's retired. So what's the point in giving him a 2-year ban anyway? He's retired. We all knew he was done. You know, he'll probably do these exhibitions and stuff like that. They're not governed by Ukad, are they? So it doesn't stop him from doing anything. So it's easy for him to turn around and say, oh yeah, I've got caught, and yeah, I've got a 2-year ban. Fair enough. That's it. But it's just like I said, I've got young fighters saying, what are they going to do to clean this up and to sort this out? You know, and what I want to know is, again, why has it took so long? It's over a year. Why has it took so long? You know, you've got, and then I've just seen Boxer have put out a statement saying that they didn't know anything about it. Well, hang on a minute. I thought when there's a failed drugs test, then the promoter gets informed, the person who failed the test gets informed, and the board of control gets informed. So what's happened there? So if they're saying, and the board are saying that they didn't know until now, then what are UKAD playing at? So we've just had all the bollocks with VADA, and now we're having loads of bollocks over with UKAD, or a boxer and the board talking bollocks. Again, it's not just, listen, there's always has been, and there is always going to be fighters that are going to fail tests, right? There's always going to be. But now it seems we're getting failed tests with like some sort of like an organization or the people above you know, not just the boxer getting done for cheating, but the organizations around them either not doing the job or covering shit up.
When this was never
Or-
the case previous.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
well, if you go through like all these fighters that failed tests in the past, it's like failed the test. Oh, everyone's like, oh, up in arms, scumbag, this, blah blah. They they get a ban, blah blah blah. It's done. Then they move on, serve the ban, come back and box or whatever. But there's never been question marks over the testing process, as in the you know, why they're covering up, have they covered it up, who they informing, why aren't they informing? You know, there's never been all sorts of clouds and stuff outside. That for me is more important than the fighters getting caught, because fighters getting caught is a good thing. The fact that the fighters are getting caught is a good thing. I know in the short term it's bad and it's like, oh my God. But in all these sports, the reason why the footballers come off the pitch, they're getting tested. Every sport, it's good that they're all getting tested. And when you are getting tested, some are gonna get caught. You know, there are cheats out there and they are gonna get caught. But it's the system, the governing bodies, the organizations, that's what should be done, everything as clockwork. That's their job. So this, where he said, she said, if boxers are turning around and the board are turning around and saying that they were never informed, and this is the first they've heard about it, then Ukad need to answer why that's the case, when on every other failed test, the promoter, the board, the governing body, and the failed test boxer get informed. So again, just confusion. And what is that about? You know?
Yeah, no, you're right. There is massive kind of discrepancy, or has been over the last couple of years, of the people, like you said, perhaps not doing their job properly. I won't keep you too long. Obviously, middle of the day, you got things to do. Just one more thing. I know you spoke about the young boys in your gym, and kind of we've spoke before. I remember doing it in the wake of the VADA situation surrounding Connor. When you've got people looking into the sport from the outside, perhaps be it new fans or maybe your casual audience, as we'll call them, when the biggest limelight in the sport is not surrounding what happens inside the ring, like are we actually now in more danger than ever?
Like I said, for me, this in terms of sport, like big fights not happening, like just a lot of shit going off, a lot of bickering, a lot of shit, drug tests, all that. For me, it's the worst the sport's been in. But like I said, listen, cycling, athletics, everything. There's failed drug tests in them all, and there's you know, wherever there's money, power, success, there's usually corruption and cheating going off. You know, boxing is no different. It's just that I think the good stuff about boxing either is not happening enough or not being spoke about enough. So therefore, the shit is kind of like taking over the limelight. Listen, we've just had some great fights to watch, you know, on several different channels. But we don't talk about them because we're too busy talking about the stinker that was the main event, or, you know, fight's not happening. That fight's fallen through. This fight's fallen through. But there's been some really good fights lately. You know, you look at that Andrew Kane fight. You look at Ramirez and what's his face? Forgot who it was even. There was Dogbo the other night. There's been some good fights to watch, but we're not talking about them. We're talking about the fights that aren't happening, and because the negativity gets spoke about even more, that takes up more of the space, so to speak. And when big fights aren't happening, and then the main events that are happening haven't been that good or might not be that good, then that's where people think about more negativity. But then when like you said, a Coley against Billam Smith, it's been announced today, brilliant fight, absolutely brilliant fight. You know, and that for a Coley, that's the best fight because he's getting an hammering because his last fight was a stinker. But this fight, Billam Smith will make it into a good scrap. It might be untidy, it might be messy, but it'll be a good fight. And that's going to be overshadowed by the news about this Amir Khan thing. But you know, it's more for me, it's more the what surrounds it. It's more this boxer on the board saying that they didn't know, because these are the things that need to be in order. There needs to be proper governance. So when you do catch a cheat or somebody fails a test, the protocol's done right, everything's done properly. So it doesn't look shady, it doesn't look cloudy. Because let's just say, because I haven't heard anything from Ukad yet, let's just say Ukad came around and said, well, actually, we did inform them and show the email or whatever and the date that they did get informed with the results. Then what does that say about Boxer and the board? And I'm not backing or anything, but the hammering that they've been putting on how Matchroom Idea dealt with the Ben case, or still dealing with it, then if they've been sitting on it and knowing that this happened and they've not said anything and it's just gone about their own business and being pally with Kel at ringside and stuff like that, then that makes them look really, really bad. I'm not saying they did. I'm not saying, again, we don't know. But now that they've come out and said that statement, look, obviously legally, for me, that tells me that they're right, because they wouldn't come out and say they weren't informed about it, because then number one, surely then UCAD could sue them and by just showing them, oh, actually, you did, here's this email. So for me, this puts a shade on UCAD, on the procedure, on what normally happens, where they let the relevant parties know, but this time they haven't done. Why? Why is that? So for me, it's the shit around it. Amir Khan's retired. He ain't fighting again. It is what it is. It's another fighter that's fucking popped and it's shit. But he's retired. It's done. It stinks. But for me, the bigger issue is the cloud surrounding the process and the organizations and stuff like that.
Refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,